Torture is illegal, it's immoral, it's wrong, and it doesn't work.
A new report lays bare CIA torture practices during its counterterrorism activities. Malala Yousafzai receives a Nobel Peace Prize. Time magazine names its Person of the Year. And thousands are expected to attend hockey legend Jean Belivau's funeral in Montreal today. Hi, welcome to Humber News. I'm Adriana Jung, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. A final au revoir is underway in Montreal at this hour for hockey legend Jean Beliveau. He died last Tuesday at the age of 83.
The Montreal Canadiens organization lost one of its giants.
Mourners are lining the streets outside the Queen Mary of the World Cathedral in Montreal. A procession began at the Bell Centre for the cathedral earlier this afternoon. Belivau's body had been lying in state so mourners could pay their respects. Last night in Montreal, Canadians paid tribute to their first home game since his death. Belivau's family sat beside his usual seat behind the Habs bench. His widow, Elise Couture, was overcome with emotion and showed her thanks to fans. In Washington, the U.S. Senate has released a new report condemning the CIA for its harsh interrogations. After the 2001 terrorist attacks on the U.S., the CIA began what it called an enhanced interrogation program to get information from terrorist suspects. The report included graphic details about interrogation methods used on suspects in prisons. Critics described some cases as torture. The methods included waterboarding, sleep deprivation, and confining prisoners to a small box. The report says the CIA misled the public about its methods and that they didn't actually work to stop terrorist plots. Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai is in Oslo today to claim her Nobel Peace Prize.
This Nobel Peace Prize, it seems like a pressure, but it's not pressure, it's strength and it's encouragement. I feel much stronger now that now I'm not alone, we are all together.
Malala is the youngest recipient in history to receive the prize. She was only 15 when she was shot in the head by the Taliban for refusing to quit school. 17-year-old Malala stood beside her 80-year-old joint recipient Kailash Satyarthi, who's credited with saving more than 80,000 children from slavery. Malala and Satyarthi both risked their lives advocating for children's rights in Pakistan and India. The Nobel Committee called both laureates champions of peace. Those two aren't the only ones sharing a prize. Ebola fighters are being collectively recognized as Time magazine's Person of the Year. The magazine says survivors, doctors, and people working in relief teams have been recognized for their courage, persistence, and sacrifices. The Ebola fighters were chosen over 7 other candidates, including Apple CEO Tim Cook, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and the Ferguson protesters. According to the United Nations World Health Organization, the deadly virus has killed over 6,000 people in its latest outbreak. Ebola is also the topic of the World Health Organization's 2-day meeting in Geneva.
These 3 hardest hit countries are among the poorest in the world. All 3 have only recently emerged from years of civil war and conflict.
The WHO will explore ways to restore healthcare systems in African countries ravaged by the virus. To the Middle East now, where a cabinet minister has died after clashes with Israeli security forces. Ziad Abu Ain was taking part in a West Bank protest when he inhaled large amounts of tear gas. Witnesses say he was also assaulted by soldiers during the protest. He was rushed to the hospital but died en route. Protesters, including the minister, were heading to a Jewish settlement to plant olive trees when they were stopped at a checkpoint. The Palestinian president called it a barbaric act and has announced 3 days of national mourning. Over the Baltic Sea, Russian military aircraft have been intercepted by NATO fighter jets. A NATO spokesperson says more than 30 Russian planes were intercepted. While incidents over the Baltic are routine, NATO says Russian military activity has increased in the last few months. The now controversial taxi service Uber has been banned in parts of India after a female passenger reported she was raped by a driver in New Delhi. Indian police say the suspect was out on bail for a previous sexual assault charge. The incident has resulted in public outrage. Police are now cracking down on other non-registered taxi services and are stopping drivers to check their documents. Uber is still operating in some Indian cities. Here at home, a baby boy has been found safe inside a stolen car in Mississauga. The vehicle was taken from a gas station while the baby's mother was paying inside. The SUV was found 40 minutes later, abandoned not far from the station. Police say they are investigating the incident as a robbery. They say the suspect is a male wearing a gray hoodie. Here at Humber, stress levels are going through the roof this week. We sent our reporter Marlon Gomez out to the halls to check the pulse of the college.
For many people, the month of December is filled with Christmas music, food, and get-togethers. But sometimes we forget how stressful things can get for students. This week marks the end of semester 1, and that means finals are here. This was the scene outside the gym at North Campus this morning. Students huddled on the floor doing some last-minute studying before the big exam. But for some students, time can't go by fast enough, so they can go celebrate and go Christmas shopping. But all those distractions can make it difficult to get down to business and study all the coursework. I spoke to one student right before he went into his exam. Here's what he had to say. In general, what do you think is the hardest part about exam week or exam month?
It would definitely just be focusing on studying for the exams. Yeah.
Do you have other distractions that keep you from studying?
Basketball. Raptors just lost to Cleveland Cavs last night, and it broke my heart.
We've got 2 more days left for exams this semester, and the college opens up for classes on January 12th. Marlon Gomez, Humber News. Back to you, Adriana.
Thanks, Marlon. When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Travis Pereira will have your 3-day forecast.
The winds are certainly singing us a song today, but I doubt it's the kind of music that most of us like to hear. But the howling winds will be the least of our worries in the evening when that 4-letter word that starts with S and ends with no will begin to fall. I'll let you know whether you're going to need extra layers this week with the full 3-day forecast after the break.
But first, New York City is rolling up the red carpet. Prince William and his wife Kate are back in England after a short trip to the United States. It's the royal couple's first visit to the U.S. in 3 years. Will and Kate sat courtside to watch LeBron James and the Cavaliers take on the Brooklyn Nets Monday night. The king of the NBA even gave them a little gift. Prince William chatted with President Barack Obama at the White House, and finally, the trip was capped off with a gala dinner honoring the 600th anniversary of St. Andrews University, where the couple first met.